Oh wait, there was a job. Hold on, I need to apply. What skills could I add to my CV that are good?
I don't know. You're asking me.
Like just random skills in it that I probably have.
Hardworking,
Alright.
determined, independent, something that makes someone think. That's what I'd give you, like a little hint. I don't
Wait,
know.
I make people think.
No. Like some like if someone went through your CV, because they go through thousands of CVs a day, right? You want someone to just go through your CV and like think, okay, I haven't heard that before. You know, like we were talking about yesterday. I think it was like the keywords or like reading. Just impress people with your reading. You know what I mean? Like impress people with those kind of keywords or like those fancy words. You know what I mean? Catch your eye. Just can't think of any words that would catch someone.
Skills, any random skills. What's a skill? What are just skills?
Being able to take advice.
Ooh.
That is a skill.
Oh, good listener.
Mm-hmm.
Years of experience, I must say.
I'm
1
looking at
year.
the
This is
wall.
self-improvement. Oh yeah, same.
I'm trying to think of words that.
Positivity. Skill. Positivity is a skill.
Oh, I don't know. Is it a skill?
I'd call it. Yeah, I would call it a skill.
Maybe, yeah. I just think it depends on how you use it. You can be positive in the wrong way, like instant grat way, or you can be positive in like trying to improve people.
Just get loaded down. Flow state.
Critique.
Hartonix is working. Let's get that.
Uh,
Never complain. Be patient. Patience.
Patience, yeah, that's a good one.
I've got that.
Humbleability. I don't know if that's a fucking word.
Humility, bruv. It's humility.
No, I said humbleability. Like being humble. Is that like I'm trying to put it into like a word? Humbleability. I don't even know.
Humility.
Okay, nice. An opportunist.
Oh.
Grateful.
That's enough.
Honest.
Jeez, that's a lot. Too much is not too. Is it too? Less is more.
Yeah, I think less is more, but
Making too many.
sometimes you
Mental toughness due to sport, confidence due to self-improvement, excellent listener, positivity, patient, opportunity.
I beg they ask you about self-improvement. You know how funny that not. It'd be funny for them because they'd get like a whole lecture.
Yeah, it all started when lockdown happened.
No, not from you, not from you. Like,
my life.
No, not from you. From them. Like, if they said they do anything down bad or something, you would just absolutely rinse them.
Yeah.
The job interview turns into about them instead of you. It's just
that's what my my neighbor Grant he did. That's what he did.
What's he?
Someone was supposed to interview him. He's good with interviews. He's a manager.
Yeah.
And he ended up interviewing the person because this is to do with like influencing people so they like you. You get the job. You have a higher chance of getting the job if the employee, is that right?
Yeah.
Employee likes you, or the employer. Which one?
I think it's. I don't even know. I think
it's employer. I think it's employer.
Yeah, employer, because an employee would be somebody you work with. I think. Right? I don't know. Yeah.
So like, he asks them loads of questions because when people talk about themselves lots, they really enjoy it because if you ask questions about that person thinks you have an interest in them, and they really like it when people find you interesting. And he was like really happy or like smiling and this and that, and he was just firing loads of questions, and he was saying, "Oh, bro, I remember this. That's nuts." I remember he said, "What I'd do, I'd pick out something from what they're wearing or in their background because they're doing calls on Zoom because of lockdown."
Oh yeah.
And then you just get the person to talk about it and just like form some sort of question wisely. So, for example, he could do it like even if with the most barren background, like he'd pick out his shirt, like, "Oh, I see you've got bright blue shirt. What can you tell me about? It's hard for me, but I'll try. Someone's got a bright blue shirt, and that's all you can see. He probably think of some crazy question like,
Oh, do you like the sky or something?
no, it's got to be
Oh.
a bit sensible. But like, he's actually a graphic designer into art, so he could ask something about art. Oh, I like your shirt. Are you into using vivid colors in your artwork? Or something like that.
Oh,
That's
that's God comes.
And he's not.
That's a skill though. That is a really good skill. Being able to turn like
Yeah.
the smallest
And I'm like,
like
and I asked like,
detail.
I remember I asked him like, what if there's nothing in the background and the person's wearing the plainest of clothes? And then he said like, oh, you just ask questions. He find a way somehow. He'd either like ask about what you like. I don't know.
It's like having a deep conversation
would
with
find
one of your
something.
friends.
Find something. That's what I got from it.
It's like having a deep conversation with one of your friends. You kind of don't start off with a topic, and then it's kind of what we were doing yesterday as well. It's like we just get, like you said when we were walking to school, it's like you go from one topic to another. You just keep jumping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and the employer interviewing Grant turns into Grant interviewing the employer because he's asking him more questions. Than the employer.
yeah. I feel that's a good way to
That's a nut skill. It's like a superpower.
that's a good way to get someone to build trust with you as well.
He's talking so long. Like he's got interviews lasting for hours.
Hours,
It's
jeez.
like an hour at least.
Mhm.
Alright, we're gonna crack on with what you want to talk about. I'd like to finish around 35, okay?
Yeah, it's calm.
So I can leave at 40, you know, a bit of time to talk about after what we could have improved on or something. Is your mic working?
Yeah, my mic is perfectly working.
Did you check? Did you,
Yeah, I
like,
checked, but I did
say something
50.
and
I did
record it?
50 million recordings already before. I was in this school
Nice.
since I've been in this school
Alright.
for like an hour.
Slow talking.
Okay, no, it kind of links to what we were talking about actually. Like,
Nice.
so you know what we were talking about yesterday? I think on the way to school as well. I'm screen sharing an hour right now. I was on Discord. It was excuses. Yeah, and you kind of asked what we asked why yesterday, but we didn't really kind of get an answer. And I was kind of doing a little bit of research before we started, and it always goes back to that one thing of validation. And people make excuses for validations, and we're doing that excuses tally today as well. I got 0 the whole day. I don't know how I got 0.
I
and I had
completely
5.
forgot about it.
Ooh, that's bad, you know.
Yeah.
And it like, unless I just because I haven't like really checked for excuses from people, I don't know what counted as an excuse or not. But I didn't really hear many people make any excuses up today. You know, I heard a little bit of complaining, a little bit of moaning because they had a test, but I didn't really hear anything else. I don't know, it's like at school that's where you think you'd hear the most excuses, but then I think that falls back into the same trap of you hear something when you want to hear it, you know what I mean? Like, when you're looking for it, you just don't find it. I was trying to listen today. I was trying to listen today for excuses, and I literally couldn't hear anything. But then, when I normally go around school, I can hear excuses like non-stop.
Must be a coincidence because I always hear excuses.
Yeah, but you said you forgot.
Yeah, maybe I was quite focused.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't really matter, to be honest. But I think if I kept doing it, maybe I would find excuses on some days more than others. I probably think Monday would be a very prime day for excuses. You come back
or like homework day, you'd get 50 million excuses out of one lesson on the homework due. You've got I went to work, then I had training, and then I had to go to work, and then I had to do homework. So I was in bed by 2 a.m. and then BS, and then I forgot it. I left it on my desk. The classic.
It's just the classic. It's in my folder.
Yeah.
It's on my folder on my desk. Put them together. I think the people do make those excuses because they're like care about what other people think of them. Because if they you know, sometimes people will like do their homework and they'll get a good grade and they'll be like, oh no, it's just because I'm intelligent, you know.
Yeah.
And they're so like, especially if they hang out with the wrong people as well, and those people kind of people get bad grades, and
Yeah.
they get good grades. They will say, oh, they'll try dumb it down. They'll try like pretend they'll downplay their result. You know what I mean? And that will get in their
Mm.
head completely. Also, when you make excuses, well, especially when we were before self improvement, when we were making excuses, my life was like so much more like, I don't know. It was like it made everything harder making excuses because you got to keep up with excuses throughout. It's like lying. Like if you lie about something, and then someone brings you back up on it, it's like you got to go home and that's still in your head that you've told that lie to someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always think like lying is probably the worst thing. Not one of the worst things you can do. Like a white lie now and then, it's not that bad because sometimes you want to palm off the wrong people and to give them the right message without being too harsh. But
Mm.
like, lying, like just lying, like constantly lying, a lie on a lie, and then a lie on another lie. It's like you lose yourself in the lies and you realize, did I say that? And then you come up with excuses for the lies, and it's like just one big
Yeah.
waff.
Yeah, and then if you surround yourself with all these lies and excuses, your life will eventually turn out like that. Because,
Yep.
like, if, for example, you should have gone to the gym and hit legs, and your excuses, oh, I was busy doing homework, or like, well, your real excuses, I was lazy or something. You just be lazy. I don't know. If you lie,
Also, no, I feel like
it's a tricky
we
one.
do make excuses because we're scared or like kind of fear what will be in front of us. Like if we face up
Yeah,
to it,
definitely.
if we face up to like a problem, like I
Yeah,
actually
people.
like you go to the teacher and say I actually didn't do the homework, or like you go up to someone and say I didn't finish this assignment and work. Like you fear that, and it's that comfort zone. You just want to be in that comfort
People,
zone.
yeah, people fear failure,
Mhm.
facing the failure and facing reality possibly too.
Yeah. Do you think that's because the society's getting more lazy and more weak?
Definitely.
Like we see it a lot. I think a lot of YouTubers, self-improvement YouTubers, bring it up as well. Like society's getting more weaker. It's getting weaker and weaker, like mentally, because of social media.
And the new norms that
Yeah,
are
like
ridiculous.
and they kind of make it like you fail and it's like it's okay. Like obviously it's good to fail. You need to fail, but like they're like oh it's fine. Your life will like they just don't like build the grit because it's fine if you fail. You can scroll on TikTok for another 4 hours. It's fine and forget about that
Yeah.
problem. You know what I mean? And then that goes just back into the back of your mind. And then another rainy day where the problem comes along. You're having a good day, but you remember something that you've tried to hide away from people. You know, and then you tell you even lie to yourself. Like you make excuses. You're like, oh no, it was fine. I shouldn't have done. I did that because I was in this situation. I was in that. When you don't want to face up to it, I think that also that leads to a lot of like mental health problems as well. People like hiding themselves away and not being who they really are.
Insecurities.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe not insecure. I don't know.
I think it could, because if you're mentally weak and you try something new and it doesn't go your way, you're gonna give up instantly, and you might have an excuse, and then you have an insecurity because you
Yeah,
can't change that one thing. You can't change the way your hair looks, the color is, or something,
yeah.
or your body. Because that's a good example. Your body. If you're, for example, if you're fat and you go to the
Oh
gym and you
yeah,
go, oh, you're like fired up, you're motivated because you set yourself a little routine. Like, oh yeah, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wake up in the morning and I'm gonna watch a motivational video. You like every day in a week, you go to the gym 4 or 5 times, and then after a week, you don't see any progress, and you're just annoyed, and then you just feel an insecurity because you think you can't go anywhere.
and also like that goes back to the excuses as well. Like if you're going to the gym and you expect to see that result, maybe you do go for a month consistently, and you think, oh, some people have got this because of social media. You see, oh, someone's got this in a month. Obviously, most of the things you do see on social media is fake, and you question yourself, oh, do I have genetics, or do I have this, or do I have that?
Mm.
And then it's like then you get like you're worried about your own body, and you're like, oh, I haven't got good genetics, I'm not going to do it. And then like you said, let's say the guy does follow that motivational video in the morning and he journals maybe in the afternoon or the evening, and he just like, oh no, I can't do this, I don't have the good genetics, or they make an excuse like, oh, I can't do this, and they just be lazy and procrastinate and just maybe think about doing but don't do it, and then they lose that schedule, and they maybe break their no-fap streak, and then they keep going the same cycle and over again. It's like once you start like the cycle of like trying to improve yourself, the worst thing is you can be is being too harsh on yourself. And we always discuss this, like if you do make a mistake, like you fail your streak or something, don't like be really harsh on yourself and say, look, oh my god, this is the worst thing I could have done, and then because you in your head it's bad for you, obviously, because you're just gonna keep like think about it again, then you'll do it again and again and again. I think if you do fail, you got to sit yourself down, you got to have a talk with yourself, or do something that will help you like clear your mind.
Yeah. Best thing to do if you fail is just, you need to have that mentality, that no excuse mentality.
Mm-hmm.
But you need that positivity too. You need to be able to draw out positivities, negatives into positives, because that's what gets you going. Positivity.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've ever tried doing something with some negative thing in your mind, it's so hard.
Yeah.
Like it's impossible. Like success thrives off positivity. It's crazy.
Also, you have to be very honest with yourself.
Yeah.
If you're not honest, you're not going to improve at all. Because when if you want to improve, I think one of the things we always say, or like, I think Hamza was in one of Hamza's videos, was like, you need a long-term goal. 100%, because
oh yeah, I think I make the mistake of not having one, because sometimes I think, oh yeah, I want to do this when I'm older, and then I get fired up for it, but then most of the time I know that's not really in my mind.
Yeah.
But I know I could probably do much better. Not that I'm doing badly, but I could do better with everything if I've got that goal in mind. Like, I believe what I should do now, I will do this. I'm going to write the goals up on my wall.
Yeah,
so
100%,
I'm seeing them every day. I know what I'm working towards. Even if the work becomes difficult, or I don't feel like doing it.
Mm-hmm. It's that repetition. If you see that like goal every day, over and over and over and over again, it's kind of it gets ingrained in your head, and you want to just keep striving, keep going on forward.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So when you have a goal, it helps you like also like with a goal, how you have a purpose as well. I think your goal is probably most of the time, long-term goal is entwined with your purpose, and I think that can really help it. And then also with that, you probably will stop making excuses because you have something to drive yourself towards, and you're like, okay, I actually need to do this. Get up, go round. I can't be making excuses if I want to do this. You know what I mean? I've got to be straight with myself. I've got to critique myself. Maybe you want to be a tennis player like you, and you'll critique yourself. You've got to look at yourself in the mirror. You've got to tell yourself what you're doing wrong, how you're doing it wrong, what you can do better. You know?
Yeah. A really remarkable thing about surrounding yourself with all these ingraining certain things into your head by surrounding yourself with them is that it becomes so powerful. For example, I strongly believe that everyone's a distraction, because when it comes to my day-to-day life, I want to be super focused, and if I'm cycling or something or exercising and I make eye contact with someone or I look in their face, I just lose focus, and I just feel worse, sort of. Yeah. And I tell myself, oh, what are you doing? Everyone's a distraction. And like that quote or that mentality that I'm striving for, I instantly get back into it or get reminded of it. So surrounding yourself with all these things that you're trying to achieve is really important, and you're trying to do. And just reading them on your wall, that's such a good thing to do. You see it every day. When you wake up, you go to sleep, you can read it every time you're in your room, before you go to sleep, if that's all you do in your room.
Yeah.
And then it becomes ingrained, yeah.
It's like a little bit of like motivation. if you think about it. Like you can,
Yeah.
you don't need motivation for a screen if you can, because I feel like through a screen you can't get your purpose
No.
and you can't get your motivation because everyone's motivation is obviously different. But I think
It's
I think
for different
everyone's
purposes. Yeah.
I think everyone's motivation is getting a bit closer now because you got all these like motivational videos on TikTok, YouTube, all this. Everyone's like, oh yeah, you got to get up. People screaming at you, and if they feel like that's their motivation to get up. You know what I mean? And maybe after they watch one TikTok of someone shouting, and then that come off TikTok and start watching YouTube. You know what I mean? They'll stop scrolling and they'll go on YouTube, or they'll go outside, they'll go play football, or they'll go to the gym or something. I just think if you do have something on your wall, like a massive poster or something, just to remind you, it doesn't have to be a lot. It's something small, like the long-term goal. Like if you have that on your wall, it's something to work towards, and every day you can feel like you've made a slight change to it, and you've got yourself closer to that goal.
Yeah.
So many people make the mistake by when they first like hop on self-improvement, or they just try to better themselves, they make it too complicated. I think the best thing to do is make sure you find yourself, you love yourself before you love others, because that's the most important thing. If you can't find yourself, you're not gonna you're still gonna end up being false around other people. 100%. And then that's when you start making excuses and you go back in that circle that we talked about. You break the streak, you break this, you break that, and you don't actually see who you want to be.
I think that's the journey. That's what self improvement is about, though.
Yeah.
It's about learning what you're doing wrong. So, for example, you hop on self improvement and you tell yourself, "Alright, I'm not gonna fuck for the rest of this week." You think your life's sorted. You get to day 6, you go to day 7, and you're good. But then
What's after it?
you might slip up or something because of a routine or that you missed, and then you learn a lesson. You learn, oh, I need to go to sleep on time, and you've been humbled.
Oh yeah, that is
Um,
that's such a nice word. Like being humbled by something, because you don't think you're as good as you are.
mm,
And obviously that goes to the idea that no one's perfect, and that okay, that maybe the best people, even the best self improvement people, still make excuses. And still sometimes they do make excuses, but they're the people that learn from it the most.
this is a really good example. So say that you go to the gym and you're so fired up about getting your 6 pack abs, your bigger biceps, your bulging biceps or whatever. And then you do actually go to the gym consistently and you just bang it out, okay? Because you have missed sessions before, like last year, and you're proper serious about it. You're so consistent, you're not missing anything. Sometimes, however, your sleep's not perfect. Like, sometimes you get, maybe once a week you get 9 hours of sleep. Some days you get 7 or 8. And then, because you're working so hard and you think everything's going so well, you get an injury. And then that injury leaves you confused, like, oh, what has happened? I've been working hard, but then you realize you have to accept it because you truly can't work 6 days a week for months on end. You do need to give your body a rest, and that's where you learn you can't just go all out on things. And I think half of self improvement is self care, because you need to be able to recover too. If you can't recover well, you can't grind well. You can't grind hard. You
Yeah.
need to be able to recover as hard as you can grind.
It's like always what everyone says. You need in life. You need a big balance. Like
Yeah,
the like you can be fully dedicated to it, but I think
yeah,
like fully dedicated, but you still need a bit of
yeah.
like something, just like a balance, because otherwise you'll get too far into it and then you fail one day and you question everything you start doing, and it's just like you don't feel like then you feel like you've not done what your purpose said, and then maybe that gets like into your head, and then you get really distracted from what you're meant to
Yes.
do.
Yeah, these new people in self improvement, they feel so charged up because they're on this new thing, but then they don't know what balance is, and that's what I learned. And they think, oh yeah, it's all grinding, like working hard. That's what some people might think. Um, but then something bad might happen to you, and then you do realize, oh wait. I need to do something else. I need to be able to recover well.
Mhm. God lag.
Yeah, that's what
You lagged, mate.
I think. That's what people. That's what I've learned definitely on self improvement.
Mhm.
Is that you need to give time for yourself to recover, and you can't bang everything out in a small amount of time.
Yeah.
Because if imagine you do all these little things, you go to the gym, let's say 4 days a week, and you do that for a whole year because you've got your life set, you recover well, you're so consistent. You'll make so much progress compared to someone who's banging out hard, sweating his balls off. But then he'll learn, all right, I'm going too hard. Consistency is better and
Yeah.
than intensity. So I think that's a big lesson in self improvement.
I just think because if you go straight in, balls deep, the first time you ever do it, you'll just get, if you do fail, then you'll start making excuses, and you'll fail,
Mm,
and it'll then you just really feel like, then you start questioning in it, and then you go back into your old ways of
yeah,
becoming this. You're the
yeah.
worst version of yourself, and you're not someone who
Being
who can
humbled
change.
is a blessing in disguise for some, not for some people, for everyone. Some it might be a blessing in disguise for some people if they
Yeah.
don't understand that it is in this disguise, and it's a blessing. Yeah, being humble is a blessing because you need to understand that you can't work hard 24/7, 365 days a week. Sorry, a year.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, your body can't take all uh, loads of
Stress.
work. Your
Mhm.
and overworking itself.
Mhm. So what we learned was that excuses come from people that are.
Hello,
Yeah, hello,
still
hello.
there?
Yeah, I'm still here, mate. I'm still here. I think excuses are somewhat people are just like, I don't know, over people that make, like, you can be consistent and be this and keep going, but then you obviously there'll be a time where you have to you'll make excuses, but what we said is that you've always just got to make sure you learn from them,
Yeah,
and you get it gets like it's like the hurdles. You get over the first hurdle and you get over the second hurdle. Maybe you fall at the second hurdle, but can you get up on that second hurdle and actually further improve yourself and not make excuses and then go back?
yeah. Being able to not make excuses is very strong because if you take that into the analogy of the hurdle race,
Mhm.
so if you go over the first one but you don't go over the second one, and you make an excuse, you'll be stuck at that second one. However,
Yeah.
if you face the reality and accept it, oh, I don't have enough endurance to get over the second hurdle. You go off, you be consistent, you train your legs, you do something to get over that second
Yeah.
hurdle, and then you do whatever it takes, and then you go back in the race and you'll jump over that second hurdle,
Mhm.
and then
You
it's
do the
just
same process for
a
the rest of it.
cycle of improving, and then you can't
Yeah.
go over the third one. And, you have to accept it because
Mhm.
you're not strong enough yet. You haven't been doing this for long enough, so you go back to the gym or something. You focus, and you get over the third one, and then you keep going, and then before you know it, you can go over two hurdles after one failure,
Mhm.
and then yeah, you just gotta keep that humble mentality where you accept and just work for it.
The more you make excuses, the worse your life will be.
Yeah, in the future, yeah, definitely.
Mhm. Bish bash bosh.